Your Global Business Report. Financial industry experts have asked banks across the country to assist the government in funding infrastructure to open up prospects for economic revival. At the 2022 Fellowship Investiture of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Dr. Ken Okpara, the president of the institute, Ajaokuta, a finance and infrastructure specialist, and other experts advised financial institutions to come up with various ideas in a way to fund infrastructure. According to Okpara, the key to closing Nigeria's infrastructure gap is to adopt innovative ideas and methods for raising the money required for workable infrastructure projects. And stakeholders have advocated for Nigeria to adopt Ghana's single window system and TradeNet, an electronic data exchange network. They claimed that the platform had made it possible for business owners to exchange data, communicate information, and move the working process along more quickly. Additionally, they applauded the introduction of the Nigerian Port Process Manual, which has made conducting business in the country's ports easier and significantly decreased corruption tendencies. The federal government has hired a transaction advisor for the concession of the Ajaokuta Steel Company and the Nigerian Iron Ore Mining Company, Itakwe, according to President Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria Mining Week on Tuesday in Abuja, Buhari made this announcement. Our selection procedure, he claimed, is in the works as the FG is dedicated to expanding Nigeria's steel sector. All right, joining me now to discuss this further is Kelvin, Emmanuel, the CEO at Dairy Hills. Emmanuel joins me from Abuja studios. Let's get this conversation with him on the way. But of course, we'll discuss the Ajaokuta Steel. Thank you so much. Good morning, Kelvin. Good to have you. How is Abuja today? Can the Ajaokuta Steel be salvaged? Is this the silver lining for this big white elephant project? The biggest in Nigeria, by the way.
Good morning, Sir Boson. Thank you so much for having me on the Global Business Report. And Abuja is fine, thank you. I do not think that the federal government should be responsible for revamping the Ajaokuta steel plant. I think at this point, the federal government should engage in a core investor sale and bring in a private sector player that is both a technical partner and a financial partner to take the project on. I think that's the only way the Ajaokuta steel plant is going to succeed. If the government continues with its plant program, like you currently have the Kaduna, Port Harcourt refineries that is gulping turnaround maintenance money, and audited financial statements have shown in the recent past that the government spends a little close to 100 billion naira, managing staffs and pension benefits for refineries that don't produce any barrel of refine any barrel of crude oil. So I don't think the Ajaokuta Steel should continue without the government engaging in the core investor sale and bringing in both a technical and a financial partner.
But what do you make of Mr. President's assertion that this concession will lead to job creation, export earnings, tax revenue for the country? Is he, Mr. President, being too optimistic and too early?
Of course, that is always the political line. It's a political statement that every politician makes, promising tax revenues and job creation for the people. It's something that you take with a pinch of salt and you don't take seriously, with due respect to Mr. President. I do not think that this government can achieve anything with the Ajaokuta steel plant within the next 4 or 5 months that it still has in office. I do not think so at all.
This will stretch into the next administration, I'm sure. Is continuity an important factor here for the Ajaokuta Steel project?
Well, to be honest with you, I think what the government can do is set the process of a core investor sale. Even if the government opens bids and start the process through the Bureau of Public Enterprises for core investor sale right now, it's going to take some time for the government to finish all the legal and documentation process required for that to go through. So I think the government can set the ball rolling and provide like a forward guidance or framework for whoever becomes the president in 2023 to take the baton on from there and run with it. Because it's important. Now, if you look at the EPC contractors for the AKK pipeline, and you look at the amount of steel that was purchased, you consider how much Nigerians import, how much steel Nigerians import, you realize that there is a need for the government to take steel seriously as a strategy for setting up the heavy industries in Nigeria, which takes a lot of foreign exchange from the country.
Okay, that's the steel infrastructure with the Ajaokuta steel. Let's talk about port infrastructure. Do we really need to replicate Ghana's single window system and its electronic data interchange platform? What do we need to do?
I think it's important to replicate what they have at Tema and Takoradi ports in Ghana. And the reason why it's important to integrate it into the Nigerian Port Process Manual, MPPM, is so that you can create a single window where you align the information and data flow for the Nigerian Customs Service, MPA, the custom brokers, freight forwarders, terminal operators, the Ministry of Trade and Investment, the Ministry of Finance, which is very critical to the whole process, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, and the Central Bank of Nigeria. It's important to have a window where every stakeholder in the industry has an opening to see the data flow. And it's also important that going forward, that even as the Lekki deep sea port that has just been concluded and has been announced by China Harbour, that going forward, they invest in, you can see that a couple of months ago, they brought in shore-to-ship crane and rubber tire gantries. It's important they have cargo scanners so that destination inspection agents will be able to, the process of inspection, customs inspection, can be seamless and automated, and that will reduce the amount of corruption and delay in the process of clearing of goods at the ports and manual interventions. So I think it's very, very critical for the Nigerian government to adopt the single window that is being operated in Ghana and has been there for some time, and that is a success into the process, because you have a lot of stakeholders in the Nigerian shipping industry complaining, maritime industry complaining about the delays at the ports and how much it accumulates demurrage and the costs of bringing goods into Nigeria, which is passed on to the consumer, by the way.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Kelvin Emmanuel, the CEO at Dairy Hills. Thank you for touching on two of the biggest stories we have in Nigeria between the steel, Ajaokuta steel mill and the port. I do have a great day.